Good. Yeah. So quit smoking. This is a book by an author called Ace McCloud, and you would have heard the phrase that I read so much about the ill effects of smoking that I totally gave up reading. So but it didn't happen in my case. This book was partially instrumental, and it helped me kind of take this journey. So more about this book later, but I think I'm very happy to be here on this vitamin session, because I think Harbinger has decided to celebrate this quarter as We Care, and I'm happy to share. And though my story is about smoking, I'm sure you guys will see traces and probably correlate with any other addiction or habit. Yeah. So quit smoking is a little heavy session, but I'll try and make it light. So let's go on how it all started. Yeah. So early college, 1973. I was in Ferguson College, and a bunch of us, about 12 of us, decided to, take a cycle ride to Mahabaleshwar. So those days, college was on cycle or bus. So cycle was a common thing. So a dozen of us said, okay, we go to Mahabaleshwar and book holiday home for 10 days. So we did that, and 3 ghats, and it was quite a adventurous ride to go to Mahabaleshwar. And then every day we kind of cycled to each of these sightseeing points. Yeah, but that was the place where we got inducted to all the good things in life. And not all of us, but at least half of us, did try to have a few drags, and that was a good small beginning. Yeah. And then thereafter, we kept looking forward to more such trips, and life continued. And in the second year, I got a buddy. His name was Anil Bhatnagar. His dad was the head of the English department at NDA, and he was a heavy smoker. But the peculiar thing was this guy used to be always in white shirt, white pant, white belt, white shoes, white socks, and white cigarette. So he he made a style statement, and his son Anil was in love with him, and he wanted to smoke desperately, but he was not allowed to do that in the house. So he did that in the college. So during the breaks, I and he, we used to walk down from the back gate of Ferguson down that BMCC road to the cigarette joint next to Rupali. So we used to go there, and he used to buy the most expensive non-filter cigarette. That time it was Capstan, and it used to cost 19 paisa. So the guys to buy and smoke, and I used to watch him. And then after some time, I kind of started taking a few drags from him, and enjoying as well. But then I realized that I can't deprive him of his full cigarette all the time. So then I started buying my own cigarette, and that's how it all started. Yeah. Then, so talking about borrowing, or talking about bumming a few drags or a cigarette, I'm reminded of a story that was popular with all smokers, and let me just share that with you. And there is no ill will or any negative feelings here, but it's a joke. So there is this guy who's going around asking for a cigarette. So he goes to a Gujarati and says, "Bhai, मेरे को एक cigarette दे देना." तो गुजराती भैया उसको देखता है और छुपा देता है सिगरेट, और बोलता है, अरे यार, मैंने तो 1 हफ्ता पहले छोड़ दी सिगरेट, तो मेरे पास तो है नहीं सिगरेट. Then this guy goes to a Maharashtrian and says, भाऊ मला एक सिगरेट द्या ना. तो भाऊ looks up and says, ठीक आहे, आता घे, पुढच्या वेळेस आपली आपली विकत आणायची. So he says, ठीक है. Then he goes for the next one to a Punjabi and says, प्राजी मेरे को सिगरेट देना. तो प्राजी बोलता है, एक नहीं यार, 2 ले ले, कोई प्रॉब्लम. Then he goes to a Bengali. The Bengali sees him coming and hides his cigarette and says, यार अब भी बुझाई मैंने, लास्ट वाली सिगरेट अब भी बुझाई मैंने, खत्म हो गई मेरी. So, and it goes on. Our country is large, and there are people with different behavioral patterns. But the question is, who is the guy asking? Okay, I'll not give you the answer. I'll tell you in the end. Okay, so that's about national characteristics, using bumming cigarettes as an example. So then, of course, there were great promotion schemes happening. So I remember in college, there was a scheme, there was a BD launched called Rose BD. And they said, iCard dikhao and get 50% discount. I mean, that's crazy. So, there was a long rush and people started having BDs. Yeah. Anyways, from there, we went into hostel life. So when you go to hostel, obviously, you can't run out all the time and buy one cigarette. So you start buying packs. And then there were promotion schemes on packs, and you give 10 empty cartons, and then you get one pack free and stuff like that. So hostel life went on, and then you start earning, and then it becomes a lifestyle. Yeah. So then it became a lifestyle for me. And then I said, why not? east or west, whether it is Clint Eastwood or Devanand, yeah, or Gregory Peck or Rajesh Khanna, yeah, everybody smoked, and even James Bond. So I said, why not? So hum bhi ban gaye hero. Okay, so that's enough boasting for the wrong reason. Okay, so what is the scenario for smokers that time? Okay, there was no restriction on smoking. You could smoke anywhere, open air, closed premises. You could smoke in offices. I smoked in office when I was in Bangalore till 1997. Yeah, then I came to Pune and Thermax, and then I had to go to the terrace. Yeah, but yeah, a lot of places smoking was allowed. Even in flights, you could actually smoke in flights. You could smoke in airports. Then later they stopped that, and then they said that there are few seats in the flight where you can smoke. Where they had a special suction arrangement so that the smoke got sucked out, and the rest of the people are not affected. So that happened, and then eventually, of course, it got stopped everywhere, and all closed premises with no smoking. And at airports and all, we had smoking rooms. So I'm reminded of a story of a smoking room. I got down at Singapore once, and then I was desperate for a smoke. So I had to go looking around for the smoking room. And some of you may know that Singapore airport is a very, very big airport, And then I kept walking and walking toward the smoking room. And then I came across a very small room with smoke coming out from everywhere. That was supposed to be the smoking room. So anyway, I went in, and I was wondering whether I should light up or not, because by the time I came from the other side, I probably would have smoked 2-3 cigarettes. So that was the state of the smoking room in Singapore. Yeah. So so life was still enjoyable, and one kind of said that smoking is still trendy thing to do. But I remember in networking, it was handy. You could bum a cigarette, you could ask for a light, especially at conferences. That was a good meeting place. So outside every conference hall, you'll find a few guys hanging around, having a smoke, and it's easy to strike up a conversation. And I think being in sales, I think that was a good advantage for me, because I made the best use of those occasions. Yeah. That apart, yes, because you are doing smoking in and out, day in and day out, there are some lighter things you kind of associate with, So one of the things is, you smoke and you take out rings, and you have competitions of, who can have the longest lasting ring or the largest ring and stuff like that, And then you play games with matchsticks, So you have different puzzles that you can do on the table. Then I remember I think Amitabh Bachchan in one movie, he in his style, he was lighting with the left hand and having a smoke. So then we said, okay, now, because that looks very stylish, so let's all do it with the left hand. So we actually practiced, and we became masters of, lighting the matchstick with the left hand and, having so crazy things we were doing, all, fun and games. Yeah. But let's not forget, I think nicotine is one of the most addictive substances known to mankind. And thanks to the millions spent by big tobacco companies to make it that way, So they make it so addictive that it's extremely difficult to give up. And along the process, we develop a lot of excuses, So my excuse was, I just love my smoking so much. So why should I quit? I don't want to quit. It's part of my personality. It's my style statement. It's my companion at every occasion, day in, day out, stuff like that. You come up with these excuses to justify and say that, why I should continue smoking. Yeah. And there was this other thing, like, initially when you started smoking, you think that, you're not inhaling, so you just take a superficial puff and blow it out. And then you justify and say that, hey, I'm not inhaling, so I'm okay. It's not going into my body. And then when it starts going into your body and you start inhaling properly, then you say, no, I'm leading a healthy lifestyle. So nothing will happen to me, So I do my exercise and I do this and I do that, So there's a lot of justification that is available. Yeah. This one we already looked at, the lighter ones, I read so much about the ill effect of smoking that I totally gave up reading. Then there is another question that people ask, how many do you smoke? And the answer is 1 cigarette at a time, So I think that's the most logical thing. But you'll be surprised. I had a friend who smoked 2, and that also Charminar, he used to hold it like this and I have 2 cigarettes. So the smoker's world is crazy. Then there was this other thing which said that, if you have 100 packs, it reduces your life by 1 day. And we used to do some smart mathematics and say that, by that logic, we would all be gone by Anyway, so these are all lame excuses just to justify the wrong thing that you're doing, because in the heart of your heart, you know that, nobody likes it. Your parents don't like it. Your wife doesn't like it. Your children don't like it. Your non-smoker friends don't like it. You can't smoke in the office. You cannot, live like a normal free citizen. But yeah, so you make efforts to cut down. So what do? So you try and eat something, and then you say that, okay, when I'm eating, at least that is the time I'm not smoking. Yeah. But then, of course, the moment you finish eating, you light up. Then you say, okay, I do some exercise. And, then you go for a walk, and then you stop by a cigarette shop, and then you have a cigarette, because it's crazily kind of addicted. Then you use punching bag. Then you buy regular cigarettes and not king size. The regular ones are smaller than king size. Which, okay, I take lesser intake of tobacco. Then you cut the cigarette in two and then say, okay, I'll have the smaller one. And then after some time, I'll have the next one. Crazy things you try. Then you do electronic cigarette. The electronic cigarettes are again banned now, but there was a time when they were allowed. So those are the things you do. Then I also tried some homeopathic medicine, which was yuck. And it actually gave me a nausea. And I kind of, I was smoking also, and I was hating that thing, and it didn't work. And neither did, chewing this nicotine gum. So yeah, but I think all smokers try and make this effort, and then try that it works, but it doesn't. So how did I give it up? Okay. So all good things must come to an end. If at all you want to justify, it's a good thing. It is not. You're just blowing away your life, and spending so much money, and getting ostracized. Yeah. So I must thank NHS. NHS is the National Health Service. I happen to be in the UK in I think I was there for 3 years, 2006 to 2008, 9. So this is 2008, so there is National Health Service. So what happens in London is that the good old post, is very active. And every day in your post box, you'll find one, big bundle of letters and stuff like that, So I used to get letters from NHS saying that, are you a smoker? And, why don't you come and join our smokers meet and all that. So I was ignoring those, But one fine day I got an invite, which when I opened up, it opened up like a long cigarette. So that looked very impressive. So I said, okay, what is this? So it was an invite for a smokers meet in our locality. So I said, okay, let me go and see. And that time what happened is I was living in a rented house, and the landlady was a very sticky lady. And obviously it was a no smoking house. So you can imagine my plight. And in the cold weather, I used to, take my whole this thing and, with my gloves and go outside and somehow manage to light up and all that. So it was crazy. And if I smoke in the house, the, nicotine or tobacco has a very peculiar habit of sticking to the walls, to the cupboards, to the clothes, so you can't hide it. Whatever room freshener you use, that stink will remain. So anyway, I said, chalo, let me go to smokers meet and see what they do. So it was good. About 20, 25 people were there, and different people who shared their experience of, they're smoking or they've reduced or they've given up, and how did they give up, and stuff like that. So it was okay. Some, generic learning and all that. And then they have it, every fortnight. So the next one I did not, but for the subsequent one, I got a call, and say, hey, you attended the first one, so why don't you come this time? It's a very special one. I said, okay. So I went for that one, and it was very nice. What they did, they categorized us into 3 categories: light smokers, medium smokers, heavy smokers. So anything less than 10 is light smokers, 10 to 20 is medium smokers, about 20 cigarettes is a heavy smoker. So I used to smoke about 25, 30 cigarettes every day, and I was categorized as a heavy smoker. And I was also allocated a counselor. So the counselor who would kind of help me deal with, how should I give up, right? So the very first thing is that everybody there has not come to give up smoking. Somebody like me had gone there to, find out, what happens there, and, how people give up, and, should I think about giving up and all that, So what I liked there is that it was not a smokers meeting to tell people to quit smoking. It was a smokers meet to tell people to enjoy smoking. So the very first thing that happened is, they said, hey, light up. Where are your cigarette? Light up. You're here for a smokers meet, So everybody lights up and everybody's smoking and having a chat. So it's a smokers meet, right? But what they teach you there and what they tell you is enjoy every cigarette, So that is very, very important. Yeah, I'm doing a monologue. Sorry for that. I think we'll take the questions only in the end. Yeah, Neville, hope that is okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ullas, yes.
Yeah. So enjoy every cigarette, So you take your pack, right? Can you see the pack? Yeah. Here there's a pack. Yeah. Look at the pack, What a beautiful packing. Yeah. Look at the color. Lovely. How much effort has gone into making this pack look so beautiful? Open it. Remove a cigarette. Look at the cigarette. Wow. Isn't it a beauty, slim piece of art? Lovely cigarette. Smell the tobacco. Look at the filter. There's a yellow filter at the bottom. Yeah, exquisite. Now I'm going to enjoy this cigarette. Before you put the cigarette in the mouth, take the matchbox. Yeah. Hear the sound of the sticks. Yeah. Look at the compact packing of the matchbox. Yeah. Remove the stick. Enjoy the puff. You get what I'm saying? Each and every drag you enjoy, you feel it, you feel the smoke going into your mouth and you feel it touching all over and you feel it coming out, right? And moment you start enjoying your cigarette, automatically your smoking comes down. Because I remember when I was smoking, I used to light up a cigarette and I had to do something. So I used to put it on an ashtray, and without realizing that I already have a cigarette, I used to light another one, because it is absolutely dumb. And it is, the cigarette is just happening and you're not even enjoying it. So this is a fantastic lesson there that, I think today they say mindfulness, so whatever you do with, full mindfulness. So that is what it is. So enjoy every cigarette. The smokers meet, we really learn how to enjoy the cigarette, So that's not all. And then it went on to understanding the process. Now, this is the most important part of the quitting, right? So enjoy the smoking. Yeah. So you enjoy the smoking and you enjoy it so much, then why do you want to quit? If you like it so much, then don't quit, right? So unless until you're convinced that there is a reason you want to quit, unless until you want to wait to go to the hospital and then there is no choice, yeah, that's your choice, okay? And you want to continue smoking and you like it better, go ahead. Nobody's stopping you. But if you want to quit, then let it be a voluntary decision. It's not a compulsory thing. You are making a choice and you're saying, hey, I want to quit, right? So therefore, whether it was the smokers meet or whether it was the counselor, the first thing the counselor used to tell me is, hey, where's your cigarette? Light up. So I have to light up, and then that's how the whole thing started. Because nobody's telling you to quit. You are the one who's got to decide to quit. Okay, then what happened over the next few weeks and months was a lot of reading books, watching videos, about motivation, about addiction, about habits, about human behavior, about you must have heard about The Secret, law of attraction. If you really want something desperately, it happens. The whole universe comes together and makes it happen. And so you actually start believing in that and you actually make it happen. So that's the whole funda of getting psyched up and getting ready to quit smoking, right? And while you're doing all this, you continue your smoking. Whatever, 20, 25 cigarettes, yeah, you're not stopping. You're doing that and you're trying to become more aware and educate yourself and see that, okay, let me learn all these things, and that's where this character called Nitch came in, Nitch, Nitch, which is a nicotine itch. So the book cover I showed you in the beginning, Quit Smoking, and the author called Ace McLeod. So in that book, there is a character called Nitch, which is nicotine itch. Now this character is painted like a tiny evil looking character with, ugly teeth. Now that character is sitting inside you, and it is going into your brain and is biting your brain and telling you, I'm hungry, give me nicotine. I'm hungry, give me nicotine, and you as an idiot, you say, oh shit, I have to give it nicotine. So you go pick up the nearest cigarette and you feed itch and you give him nicotine, right? And then another 10, 15 minutes and Nitch is mad again, he's getting at you and say, hey, give me nicotine, So there are times when you don't have cigarettes and you kind of bear the weather and you go all the way out, in the darkness, in the night or wherever, to go and get a pack of cigarette because you become desperate, you become addicted, So you become aware of this character called Nitch and how it is eating you and how it is ruining you and how it is, ruling your life, So you read more about dealing with addiction, and then the most interesting part you want to understand is there are 3 reasons why you smoke. There is an emotional reason, there is a habitual reason, and there is a chemical reason. Okay, 3 distinct reasons why one smokes. Okay. So once you understand what these are, then you spend the next couple of weeks, months, whatever, in terms of continue your smoking, but identify, am I having this cigarette because out of habit? Am I having this because, there is some emotional element playing, or it is just a chemical craving, So you spend some time identifying your smoking pattern. Okay. And then you say, hey, this is the one that I'm having. So, the moment I get up, I want to have a cigarette, it's a habit. The moment I have a cup of tea, I want to have a cigarette. The moment I'm reading a newspaper, I want to have a cigarette, So those are all habit cigarettes, So you identify, okay, which are the ones that are habit cigarettes. Then there are those that are emotional, Your wife, there is a different emotion you want to light up. Somebody knocks at the door and then you want to light up a cigarette, So anything happens that makes you happy, sad, anxious, scared, you want to light up. So you identify the pattern. You say, okay, these are emotional cigarettes. And then there is a third category which you can't figure out, but you're desperate. And that is the role that niche is playing, eating ahead and saying, give me nicotine. So you identify all that and then you continue smoking. And then they say, okay, now the first cigarette that you can control is the one out of habit, because that is serving no purpose, It is just because you're used to it and you don't even know whether you're smoking or not, So you try and deal with it and you cut that off, So you spend time, and then having identified, then you say, okay, I will not have this habit cigarette. Okay, and then there are some techniques you learn. So there is a 30-second technique. So the moment you get an urge, the moment you go to the cigarette packet, you count till 30 or 60, and then that, thing will go away and you will not really want to do that, or you can at least delay it, So stuff like that you do, and then you deal with your habit. Once you kind of think that, okay, now I have got a hang of it, and then you say, okay, now let me look at the emotional part. And then you look at those kind of cigarettes you have, and do you really need it? Am I so weak that I need to have a cigarette to balance myself? You ask those questions to yourself, and then you are able to control. So in the first month, from 25, I went to 20. I say, okay, good, some progress, So I got rid of some of the habit ones and maybe one odd emotional one. Then the next couple of months I again worked, and I got it. I came down to about 15, so 3 months gone and I was at 15, and I thought that's a great achievement because I've cut off 10 cigarettes. So now when I was 15, I thought that, I more or less know I've got a control, or at least hang off these cigarettes. I'm smoking, but I know that this is a habitual, and, I may be able to do without it. But I think now the craving is there and I don't know how to deal with it. So that is the time they give you nicotine patches. Okay. Now these nicotine patches are of different grades. So being a heavy smoker, I had a heavy patch for the first month. Yeah, I think I have it here. Yeah. Can you guys see this? Yeah. So this is that, I think this is the level 2 pack. Yeah. And this is actually the patch. I still have it, So this patch is a colorless thing, it just sticks on your skin and it is waterproof or whatever. So every day you wear a patch. Now this patch is magic, and this patch is magic because it suddenly drops down your craving. So you get up in the morning and you missed your habit cigarette and you say, I'll get this craving. You don't get the craving. You have breakfast and then you still don't get the craving. But then you're frustrated and say, okay, let me still smoke. You may still smoke, which I did. So with the heavy patch, after another month or something, I came down to about 10 cigarettes. Yeah. Then I went to the medium patch, and then I went to the light patch. So that is 3 months, 3 full months. So 3 months of dealing with habit and emotion, and 3 months of dealing with niche, through the nicotine patch. And you will not believe that toward the end, I was on some, 4 or 5 cigarettes, and that also I was having just for fun, because I said, okay, I smoke, so let me enjoy, So till the last day I smoked, and I was kind of ready for my quitting. So I went, so some of the stuff I've written there, so you do positive affirmation, then you do visualization, you visualize yourself as a non-smoker and a healthy person, and all those things you do, which, you read about and laugh, but those things actually work. Okay. And I already told you, period is up to you. You want to do it in 1 month. So there is a method called cold turkey method. So there are some people who are very good at that. They can just decide and say, boss, finish. This is my last cigarette. I'm not going to smoke anymore. And that is very good. And my brother-in-law does that, but after every 2-3 weeks, he's back to his smoking, maybe after 2-3 months. So, but there are some people who actually have used cold turkey and just quit because they have very strong willpower, right? The method I chose was slow and easy, and it was not torturous. It was a very scientific and well thought out method. So I chose it was good. So on the last day, I said, okay, now I want to quit. So my wife and daughter, they were, spending time with me sometime, and then in Pune. So that night they were coming from Pune. So I went to Heathrow Airport. I bought a packet. Actually, I was searching for that packet. I couldn't find it today. Otherwise, I would have shown you. It has the date. And I smoked 1, 2, 3, 4 cigarettes, one after the other. Then I stamped the 4th cigarette and I said, that's it, no more. Okay. And I closed the pack, and that pack still has 16 cigarettes remaining in it. And you know how close I was to it. So I've kept that as a souvenir with myself. Yeah. And then I received my wife and daughter, and I said, hey, I quit smoking. You know, of course, there was some initial trouble, but then now it's 12 years that I haven't smoked. So that is my story. And what am I enjoying now? I'm enjoying a smoke-free life. I'm no longer a slave of the tobacco. You know, my taste buds, food is, because if you're smoking, you don't really enjoy food because the taste is gone. So now the taste buds come back, and you really enjoy the food. You know, free breathing. You feel so much more lighter. You know, my voice was croaky. Even today, I had to do this coughing in the morning. You know, and that's the kind of, because 33 years I smoked. So 33 years of smoking has, you know, really spoiled my throat. So my voice has become clearer. I'm even trying singing now, you know. So I've taken up some hobby singing, and that is what I'm doing. I have cleaner nails. You know, the smokers, what happens? Your whole nails, everything becomes yellow and black. Your lips become black. You know, so all that kind of goes away. And I think it feels good to do exercise because you feel that much more lighter. You're not looked down upon. You're not ostracized. You're not shunted around. And savings. Can you imagine? In India, that time, the cigarette 120 ka pack was costing about 80 rupees. And the same pack in the UK, I was paying £5.5. So it was killing, you know. So 33 years of smoking, okay, I will leave the calculation aside. But yes, more hugs and from friends and from family, yeah. And you suddenly feel like a more loving creature. And you really enjoy this kind of, life. Yeah. So health is wealth and health is happiness. Everything else comes next. And if you follow a good quitting process, then chances are that you will not restart. So for example, I have managed for 12 years, and I don't hate cigarettes. I still enjoy the whiff of smoke. And as I pass by a cigarette shop, I kind of enjoy that. And if somebody's smoking, I go and sit next to him, you know, so I'm okay with that. But I'm not tempted to, you know, pick up a cigarette and light myself and, you know, get back to that. So that will not happen, never happen. Yeah. So if there's a will, there is always a way. So thank you very much, guys. I hope there was some value in what I shared, and wish you a happy non-smoking or whatever addiction you want to get rid of for yourself or the others. And all the best. Thank you so much. Which had 16 cigarettes. I kept that in front of me because I have access to cigarette. If I want, I can smoke. Yeah. So the question I asked myself, do I want? I mean, I spent 6 months doing all this, you know,
right?
I learned about it. I put that patch, you know, and I came down. Do I want to kind of, you know, forget about all that and, you know, have this cigarette? Is this so important, you know? And then again, use identify and say, hey, this is this. I mean, I wanted, is it because of chemical craving? Yes, I can handle that, you know. So chemical craving, one of the best things that works is delay. You know, so 30 seconds, 60 seconds, just delay it and that craving will go. It is a pain. And initially, I mean, so initially when I gave up and my wife and daughter came, you know, so I did not anticipate that, you know, I may be, you know, very erratic and very frustrated and stuff like that. And I ended up myself in a double problem. You know, one is I was fighting the addiction and I'm not going to smoke. And second is I had to manage that I don't go overboard in, you know, being very abrasive with them. So that is very,
That's
very good.
a very good question I'm having to you for now is that when you are, you know that your cigarette is harming you and you go through some medical checkups. Honestly speaking, you know, I've gone through some angiography and everything. And the doctor told that, hey, your heart is very clean. You don't have any blockage at all. And by that time, I was so afraid of the cigarette. It may be causing to the, it may be causing harming my heart, right? It may be causing to the blockage. But when I went through the angiography and everything, beginning of this year, almost end of the last year, it came very clean. Then I feel like I'm safe.
But did you check your lungs also? Because you should check.
Everything has been checked,
Yeah,
and they said that you were clean and clear. I just thought, okay.
I know that's another excuse we use. You know, so nothing wrong with me. I'm fine. You know, so I can continue smoking.
So that gave me another I
Yeah.
would not say confidence, but that did not let me to stop my cigarette, because
Yeah.
when I
Plus, we
came
got
to
a
know,
question
So
on
the
the chat,
question,
from Mohini Raj. It says,
so Kushan, just one thing. Kushan, what you need to do is ask yourself, do you want to quit? If if you have a convincing answer for that, then part of your problem will be over. Yeah.
thanks a lot.
Thanks, Kushan.
No,
Yeah.
your story is very much encouraging, and definitely I will try to implement here.
Yeah. Thanks, Kushan. Yeah,
so guys,
Naveen.
we're out of time. Mohini Raj is asking a question. What do you think about the advertisement shown in between by movies, by government? Smoking is injurious to health and people have mouth cancers. And he personally hates such advertisements coming between entertainment. So he's asking you, do you think that these advertisements actually help in quitting?
Yeah, my personal view is that they don't help at all. You tend to switch off or look away because they're so ugly and so terrible. Thank goodness when when I was smoking, the cigarette packets were not that bad. If you look at a cigarette packet today, it has a picture of an infected lung. I don't know what all it has here. It is very repulsive, but I don't think it is helping in any way to make people think, "Yeah, this is bad. I should not smoke." No, I think it's a different kind of pattern of thinking that brings about the transformation of not wanting to smoke and not these ads. I think somebody should take up and say, "Yeah, don't stop showing these ads and stop painting bad pictures on, on the cigarette packs." It doesn't work. Yeah, so that's my view. I think it's a complete waste.
Vikalp, you have a question. Just unmute yourself and speak, please.
Yeah, so I'll just like to share one of my experience, which I believe that helped me. So, if that adds up and it helps somebody, so I'll be more than happy. So I used to smoke from since I was 18 years old, and I smoked till I was 24. And one day, I decided it's high time that I should stop smoking. So the first thing that I started discussing it with my that time girlfriend and to-be wife, that I'm going to stop smoking. She said, "Yeah, go ahead." And so first think of the reason why you started smoking. So I know it was all friends, and how they beautifully Ullas narrated the story how we generally start. So that was the reason why I started smoking. So she just told me one line. So are you smoking with those guys? Are you enjoying that? Are you having the same fun that you were having while you were smoking with them? I said, no, I never had that fun in last 3 years, three and a half years, because we are all in different places. We don't smoke together, so that fun is not there. So she said, no, then why smoke? If you're not enjoying that, you're not having that fun, why smoke? And I mean, I have been lucky in that sense that I started giving myself this question every time I had an urge to smoke. That why am I smoking? No, I'll smoke the cigarette when I'm with my friends, when I'm with those friends of college days where we used to enjoy a smoke together. And luckily, 11 of us were able to quit smoking because of just this one reason, that when will you all be together? All 11 of us will be together. We'll smoke, because that's how we started. So we said we'll smoke when we are all together now. And I mean, God bless.
Very
We
nice.
haven't.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Lovely
Very,
story,
very
Vikalp.
good story.
Yeah, I think maybe we have time for one question.
Sandeep,
Sandeep,
yeah.
you put up your hand.
Yeah, okay. So thanks, Ullas. This is amazing. And I think this applies to any kind of addiction, not just smoking. Yeah, as you rightly said. So I just had one point that what I observed was, if you link, the urge to quit to one of your strengths, I think that helps. And I could see that experience happening in front of me when I was managing some distribution network. And one dealer was there who used to, eat a lot of gutka, the tobacco. And then very difficult for him, for that person to quit it. So he said, jo main sochta wo main karta and all. That kind of language he used to speak. And then I say, kahan karte ho? Aap chhodte to nahi usko, to kahan chhod rahe ho? So nahi, aap bolo to main karta hu. So then we did the same thing. We took that tobacco, the gutka wala sachet, cut it, and then we put that inside his cash counter, that drawer, just there. And so it's in front of you, it's open, you can eat anytime, just it stick there and let's see what happens. And then this person really showed that conviction that remains there. He never had it. But the only problem was, my question to you was, like, where you experience some kind of medical emergencies because of that. When you quit, then I think your body also reacts differently. And then he had to admitted to the hospital because of the stomach ache, and it was very bad. but still, he continued and get out of it finally. So were there any, adverse effects after you quit?
Yeah. No, fortunately, there was no medical kind of ailment before and even afterward. Yeah, so I'm just thinking, so probably because I did it gradually, so it was not a sudden thing, so I think because I did it gradually, it did not really have any. So I mean, I didn't even have a headache or anything like that. But yes, see, the torture is more mental than physical. The physical thing slowly, the first week you'll find some changes, and the next, month or so you'll find more changes. Those changes are, it's a pleasure to see those changes, and those keep motivating you for, not picking up again. But yes, the whole process. I mean, I was told that time that it's going to take 10 years for it to become normal, and now it is 12 years. But I still have a throat complaint, so you don't know, and even my nails, I think my foot nail, so I think the two of the toes still have some black tinge, so I think that is again because of manifestation of the tobacco into the edges, So other than that, no, I was fortunate. There were no other, yeah. So.
Okay.
Just last question. Who was the person who was trying to bum off the cigarette of the Gujarati and the...
Yeah, it's good. I forgot about it. It is a Mallu. Sorry, there are Mallu. Ratish won't mind, but yeah, the Keralite is the guy who goes around asking. Yeah.
Super,
Okay.
super. Fantastic.
Great.
All right, I think that brings us to the end of today's session. That's amazing. Thank you so much. We have recorded this session.
Oh, yes. Good.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your ways in which you got out of the habit. Do hope that it adds value to somebody. And even if we can stop one person or somebody can stop somebody smoking, I think it'll be a fantastic effort. So thank you, everybody. And thank you, folks who have joined on this call. Appreciate your time and have a great weekend. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lars.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.